Can you tell us a little bit about this year's conference?
Sure. So this is the 11th year we've had this conference going on. As you can see from the floor below, it's quite crowded.
Yes.
We have close to about 1,000 people that have registered for today. About 25% of those are from the buy side. And the beauty of this event is it's folks from not only here in London, but around the world. So, you have folks coming over from the US, from Asia, all parts of the community that really FIX serves. And it's also the buy sides, the sell sides, the regulators, the exchanges, the vendors, really coming together and working together and kind of talking about the current issues and how everybody could, out of today really is what we come out with action items and kind of what the working groups we have within FIX should be looking at to achieve next and what really needs to be resolved. So
I appreciate the intensity of this day because I understand it's the largest one-day trading conference in the world. So you've got a lot of people here that know how important each other's time is and they're getting the most out of that. Can you talk about how the conference over the 11 years has evolved?
Absolutely, yeah. So, it used to be a smaller event, maybe just one stream of topics. And if you look at the agenda today, we have 4 different streams going on here at the event. So there's a main business stream, and obviously this year the topic of Brexit being, the big one for everybody to discuss. And these few days have been very exciting with everything going on in the news. And then last year, the big topic was MiFID II, but MiFID II is still on the agenda for this year because there are a lot of things and kinks that still need to be worked out. And we within FIX have had 7 or 8 different working groups. Some of those working groups have had to now come back together and really work together on some of the problems, that still need to be addressed. There's also a few other streams outside of just the regular equity stream. We have a fixed income stream because FIX as a protocol goes across all the different asset classes. We have a technical stream, obviously FIX being a messaging standard. There's changes that constantly need to be made with new regulation, and so we have a technology team that's ensuring that it continues to be efficient for the larger industry. And then an educational stream. So for example, I was in a session earlier. Some of the folks over here might not understand some of the US regulations and the impacts going on there. So there was a session just to cover at a high level, some of the things going on over there in the US and educating folks on, what they could be doing over here.
It's a fantastic cultural exchange and a dare I say, a bit of a think tank here happening with who you brought together and the participants that are playing a part in this conference. Can you tell us about where you think we're headed with the FIX trading community in the next couple years?
Yeah, sure. So FIX as a protocol actually started off very much in the pre-trade, beginning part of the trading process, and also was very equities focused in its sort of infancy stages. Mm-hmm. Now we've seen expansion, into the derivative space, the fixed income space, FX. And I think we're going to continue to see, I know fixed income as an example, and that's why there's a stream here today on that topic, is an area where we've had the actual usage and the ability to adopt FIX for fixed income, but the levels of usage have not been that high. So it's something we need to work on as an organization, and it is picking up without a doubt in that space. We have a large number of the buy side firms that are pushing that whole area and making sure there's further adoption, in that back end of the process. So I think we'll see a lot of that. I think obviously as the years go on, there was mention of MiFID III at some point in time. So, that'll I'm sure be, another topic on the agenda down the road. And, across all the different geographic regions, there's always regulatory needs coming up. And we as a protocol need to ensure those are constantly being addressed.
Can you tell us a little bit about, in the last couple questions here, a little bit about the people and the ethos behind the FIX trading community?
Yeah, so FIX as an organization was developed actually back in the mid-90s. And it was just the buy and the sell side firms that were involved at that point in time. And then a group got together and said, we need to actually get everybody around the table. So we need to bring in the vendors, we need to bring in the exchanges, we need to bring in the regulatory bodies, and really just ensure that everybody's needs are being met and people are collaborating as they should. So FIX, when it first started, there were only about 30 member firms. And I can tell you today we have close to 300 member firms. And we're trying to get that number even higher and higher as time goes on. We have an active, I mean, this is an event in London, but we have participants all across Europe actively engaged, in the US as well. We have a strong group in Hong Kong and all throughout Asia and in Japan. So it is truly a global phenomenon, and it continues to grow. I mean, we've done events down in Latin America and South Africa, and I think you'll continue to see FIX expanding across the world.
Fantastic, impressive. And lastly, how about this year? Is it living up to your expectations? How are you finding this year's conference?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely it is. I mean, the numbers, keep soaring every year that we do this event. As I said, it's the 11th year we've been doing this, and we're going to continue to do it. I mean, it really sets the agenda for next year. So, what are the issues over the next 12 months that we as an organization want to address? And it comes out of today's discussion. So